New details continue to emerge in the corruption scandal that has rocked the European Parliament. A Greek lawmaker has been detained, while Brussels guesses who might be next. The investigators probing the Gulf-linked corruption scandal have alleged that a former Italian member of the European Parliament took bribes from Morocco, and the payments were made by a credit card owned by someone called the Giant. The accusations were made in a search warrant issued against the wife of former member of the European Parliament, Antonio Panzeri. He's one of 4 people arrested in the EU bribery case. The warrant has now been obtained by several Western media houses, where it states Panzeri is suspected of accepting payment for intervening politically for the benefit of Qatar and Morocco. It says there are indications that Panzeri has participated in a, quote, possible criminal organisation with the knowledge and participation of his wife Maria Corleone. The couple allegedly spent $100,000 on a Christmas holiday, with all expenses paid with the credit card belonging to the Giant. Panzeri was the chairman of the European Parliament's delegation for relations with the Arab Maghreb Union, which includes Morocco. Corleone, along with her daughter, have been arrested after being accused of participation in a criminal organisation, corruption and laundering the proceeds of the crime in the obtained warrant. If convicted, they risk up to 5 years in jail. And it's not just the former Italian lawmaker, but British MPs have found themselves defending the gifts they received from the Qatari government ahead of the World Cup. The Qatari government spent more than £260,000 on gifts, hospitality and travel on British MPs since October last year. Although there's no clear evidence of Qatari bribes to UK officials, many rights activists have slammed the lawmakers for taking gifts from Doha. It all unveils as Brussels continues to investigate the scandal, where a senior lawmaker, Eva Kaili, along with 4 other people, have been arrested after bags of cash were recovered from their offices and residences. Well, to that, a major corruption scandal in the European Parliament, and it has voted to strip Greek lawmaker Eva Kaili of her role as Vice President. After she was arrested by Belgian police, Kaili is one of 4 people targeted as part of a probe into alleged payments and gifts made by Qatar to Parliament members. The suspended lawmaker is currently in custody in Belgium, where she will remain until the 22nd of December. Kaili, who along with Qatar has denied any wrongdoing, was due to appear before judges with 3 other suspects on Wednesday, but did not appear for the session. Her lawyer said she'd asked for more time to prepare for her detention hearing. Kaili's partner, Francesco Giorgi, who is a parliamentary assistant, will stay in detention. So will fellow accused Pier Antonio Panzeri, a former member of EU Parliament and founder of a non-profit campaign group. Earlier, her legal team insisted that she was innocent and did not know of the existence of cash found at her Brussels home. They said that her Italian boyfriend, Giorgi, might have answers about the existence of the cash in question. The Belgian police have meanwhile released photos of suitcases and briefcases packed with the cash recovered from one of the suspects' homes, while Kaili and her team deny any charges. EU Parliament leaders have condemned the alleged act of corruption.
Well, obviously we are very worried about the reports about corruption in the European Parliament, but I'm also very much supporting the European Parliament President, Metsola. I think she made some excellent interventions over the last 48 hours. She will be with us tomorrow at the European Council, and I will give her my full support in her work to get to the bottom of this.
The allegations are extremely serious. The investigations are still ongoing and there is a presumption of innocence. But to anyone accepting payoffs, kickbacks, bribes, I say, shame on you.
Well, for more, joining us live from Brussels is our correspondent Rosie Burchard. Rosie, this scandal seems to be engulfing the EU. Bring us the latest and tell us what we can expect to happen from now.
Brussels is absolutely embroiled in this news. This scandal has been snowballing over the last few days. It all started last Friday when Brussels police launched what was certainly here seen as a surprise probe, raids across the city, and hundreds of thousands of euros of cash recovered, and really kind of sheer blatant, of what it seems to be blatant bribes. However, as you've mentioned, those targeted have so far denied any wrongdoing. Now, the one that has caused most ripples, shockwaves here in Brussels really is that Vice President of the European Parliament, Eva Kaili, because she is a senior European lawmaker sitting in post, though of course now she has been stripped of that title, kicked out of the European Parliament, and also kicked out of her own domestic party in Greece, though the European Parliament President Roberta Metsola, when she was announcing these moves, did note that she did not want to say anything which might counter the presumption of innocence, which is of course accorded to Kaili under Belgian law. Now, as you mentioned, several of those accused of corruption, money laundering and participation in criminal organisation were due in court in Brussels on Wednesday, and let me tell you, this courtroom, or outside the courtroom at least, was heaving full of journalists, cameras everywhere, but everything was entirely behind closed doors. The accused were, it seems, ushered out a back entrance so that no press were able to see them, but it was confirmed that Eva Kaili, who is that suspect that I mentioned previously, did not attend the court and will instead have a separate date on the 22nd of December. Now, we'll be waiting until then to see what more kind of lurid details are exposed in this case. First, it was hundreds of thousands of euros in cash. Now that's gone up to about 1.5 million euros in cash recovered. I've seen photos from sources at the European Parliament of offices taped over with police tape. And I think the question really on the lips of lawmakers and leaders which are gathering here in Brussels today is, how far is this going to go? 4 people have been accused and arrested and charged so far. Is this going to go any deeper? And more importantly, what kind of damage could this do to the credibility of European democracy?